it's over. It's finished. If you're a German auto executive, Nio are eating your breakfast, lunch and dinner. They've taken all of their learnings from the past few years and dumped it all into this, and you feel that this is a much more of an evolution. If there's one brand which strikes fear into the heart of luxury legacy, that brand is Nio. And this year they're really going for the jugular because they're taking on the likes of Mercedes-Benz, BMW and Audi in their home market with this, the ET7, their first ever saloon. I think this is possibly the best ever car that a brand in China has ever made. So that begs the question, is this the end of luxury legacy? Let's find out on Fully Charged.
Farnborough, Amsterdam, San Diego, Sydney, the #1 festival for clean energy and electric vehicles is coming to you. Whether it's Fully Charged Live in Europe, supported by Mobility Service, or Fully Charged Live UK, supported by LV, we cannot wait to see you there.
If you follow Nio, it certainly has been a wild ride. From almost going bankrupt just 2 years ago to now being one of the best-selling EV brands in China. They have very big overseas growth ambitions, and this is the one that they're going to take to Germany. The first car they're going to release there, and it's going up against luxury legacy automakers. So the question is, can they beat the Germans at their own game? Can they out-luxury the German automakers? Nio certainly thinks so. And I think they're in for a very good chance because this is an exceptionally compelling proposition. 1,000 kilometers of range, NEDC mind you, with its 150 kilowatt hour battery pack, swappable, and all for a price of about 450,000 RMB here in China. I think they're in for a really good chance, a really good fight against the German luxury legacy automakers. So let's see if they can actually do it, and let's take this for a drive. So Jack recently did a video on the BMW i4 and he said BMW are the best at knowing how to make sporty saloons. Well Jack, I disagree. You need to drive one of these because this is the sportiest saloon that I've ever driven or ever seen. And we're going to demonstrate that by the insane acceleration. 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds on a car this big and this heavy is incredible. So let's just do it. I'm going to put my foot down. We're in Sports Plus mode, which is the fastest mode, and we're going to brake at the end of this course because we're not going to do this on the road, and we're going to see how good the braking is. Now I know it's going to be very, very good. So 2 hands on the wheel, and I'm going to mash the accelerator like that. Get up to about 85, and that is full on brakes. So it does 100 to 0 in about 33.5 meters, which is incredible. Now, of course, this car does have that ridiculous Sports Plus mode, but the reality is very few people are going to be driving that a lot of the time. It's, you know, 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. You don't really need that on the road. What you need is this mode, which is comfort mode, because that gives you the best experience. And in terms of the experience I'm having right now, it's very relaxing. It's so easy to drive. It does feel like the other Nio models, but they've kind of upgraded. This is the 2nd generation, and this is why I think this car will be successful in Europe, because they've taken all of their learnings and they've reapplied it, and they've come up with this incredible, incredible car. So we were really lucky last year to get an in-depth look of this concept with the designer. And to be honest, on this pre-production model, it's pretty much the same. They've kept that really slippery body. And this has a drag coefficient of 0.208. By comparison, Tesla Model X has 0.24 and the BMW 7 Series has 0.31. So this is a super slippery car, really helps with that efficiency, especially with that massive battery pack as well. Now, unfortunately, we can't test the self-driving features today because they're not quite ready, but I'm really happy they've kept the horns of the self-driving system on the roof. They could have got rid of that, they probably could have hidden them somewhere else, but they've kept it. It's quite a nice design feature. Now, in terms of the self-driving and the technology behind it, there's a lot going on. So I'm gonna have to refer to my notes. So this is called Aquila, Nio calls it Aquila, their self-driving system, and that comprises of 33 high-performing units, that's from the PR release. It's got 7 8-megapixel cameras, 4 3-megapixel light-sensitive surrounding view cameras, 1 advanced driver monitoring system, 5 millimeter wave radars, and 12 ultrasonic sensors. That's quite a lot of tech packed into this car. Those familiar with Nio will not find many changes on the surface here on the interior of the ET7. However, all of the differences are very, very subtle. And the first one I want to talk about is the screen in front of it. Apparently this is a mini LED screen, but apparently you can dim the pixels on an individual level. So if that gets you excited, you've got that screen here. You've got your 12-inch screen here, which is AMOLED, very clear, very fast and very responsive. The software hasn't really gone through much of an update yet, but it will be available in other languages when this comes out. The rest of the interior is very restrained. We've got our little friend up here, Normie. Hey, Normie.
Walala.
And we've also got our driving controls down here in the Nio little kind of paddle, which is a lovely feature. Now, 2 more things I want to talk about in here is this sustainable material. You can probably see it around here. It's called Karoon, which is a renewable rattan type of material. And it's a great kind of gesture, but I don't think it goes far enough. It looks fantastic. I'm glad they're not using some other nasty plasticky material, but why not go even further? Nio, this is a challenge to you. If you're going to redefine luxury, let's use some more sustainable materials throughout the cabin, not just like this token gesture. Another one is I've got a safe in here. So if you're ferrying about diplomats or fully charged presenters, you've got a safe in here, and this thing opens both sides and it will fully lock, and it will not unlock unless it senses my face on the camera right here. So if someone was going to rob the car and they got in, they couldn't access anything in here. So that's a very cool feature. Steering wheel is very simple, completely unadorned. I've got 2 D-pads to control the menu and the self-driving, that's it. And I really like this kind of understated simplicity. And this is something that I think European buyers will like as well. And yes, it is quite a big car. It's about 5 meters long, just under 2 meters wide, but it hides its size exceptionally well. Like, I'm looking at it now, it's quite hunkered down, and that slippery shape really hides the size very well. Now, the car is very free of adornment. There's no jingly, jangly, blingy bits on this at all. You've got your flush door handles. On both sides, you've got your chargers, so you've got your fast charger and your slow charger. Don't really need that because you can battery swap. But anyway, it's there just in case. And if you can carry around the back, again, very little adornment. And they've kept it super simple because they've just got 1 ET7 badge and the Nio badge up here. Now, if there's one weak point about the Nio, it's the boot space. It's quite deep, but it doesn't, that's the floor there. So there's no full floor. I do have some bits in there for instruction manual and emergency triangle stuff. This is only 364 litres, so not massive. The only plus side to that is the cabin space for the passengers is fantastic. So they sacrificed a bit of space here, more for the passengers on the inside. So let's take a look on the inside and see how luxurious it is. If there's 2 words that I'm going to use for the back seats of the ET7, it's restrained opulence. Now, it's not full of gimmicky bits in here. It's very, very pared back. I have a LCD screen, which I can control both music and the heating controls just for the back here. That's really, really cool to have your own small screen there. I've got the most amount of legroom that I've ever had in my life. Now I know what it feels like to be a diplomat, being whisked around different cities. You know, this is a place for performance in the front seat and relaxing in the back seat. I have all the other standard things in here, such as a USB slot, you know, my Karoon material is also being used back here, but a bit more sparingly. Cup holders are in here. In this, which is quite stiff to get off, quite heavy. All of that, you know, cup holders and place you can store your sunglasses or whatever. You know, and the material in here is all this microfiber cloth. It's very nice to the feel. It feels quite luxury. It's not leather, which is always nice. And my seat is ventilated, heated, and it gives massages. Now the next part we're going to do is the slalom, so we can test how this handles in the corners. Is it quite flat or is it a bit wobbly? You would expect a big car like this, it would be quite wobbly, but this car's been benchmarked against the BMW 530 Li. I'll get up to about 60 and keep turning the wheel, so let's just go. It's pretty nimble. I'm very close to those cones, but it handled it exceptionally well. Now I do want to take one moment to talk about the wheels, because part of these wheels is carbon fiber, not structural, it's just for design only, but they're going for that kind of very, very sporty and aggressive look. Quite low profile and not a lot of space in there. Now, the interesting thing about this car is that the sensors will sense the road ahead and then prepare the suspension for you driving over it, so you don't really feel the bumps that much. We noticed that a bit earlier on the course. So this is a very intelligent system. It reads the road, adjusts this so you don't really feel the bumps, even though you've got these super slick, low profile tyres. And these are custom made for this car as well. So they're really going for this performance angle with their sporty saloon. I'm having a massage right now. It's very comfortable, very lovely. And that's the interesting thing about the ET7 is it's got this Zen mode. You've got that crazy Sports Plus mode, which does 0 to 60 in 3 point whatever seconds. But Zen mode just slows everything down somewhat. 12 seconds to 60, just a much more comfortable way of driving. Part of that is the massage chair. I don't know if you can see, but my seat is pulsating underneath me and making me feel very relaxed right now. So I can sit along driving, getting my back gently pummeled. That's quite nice. The other thing, which I think lets this down slightly in this interior, is the glass roof. Now you think glass roof, great, you know, brings a feeling of space, and it does, especially with this light coloured material in here. However, someone like me who doesn't have much hair, I worry that I'm going to burn the top of my head. Now they say it stops 99.99% of UV and heat transmission by 83%, but I would still worry that I might get a bit of a red head at the end of the day. These are minor quibbles though on what is really, frankly, an outstanding car. So the majority of ET7 owners are probably not going to be doing mad 0 to 60 red light dashes because there's not a lot of point. What they're going to be in is either comfort mode or eco mode, because that gives the biggest sense of luxury and refinement. You know, and this car is built for that. It's not built for, you know, doing the slalom, although that was fun earlier. You know, steering wheel's a bit big to do that. There's other small details in here which really give it that feeling of luxury. So for example, the glass, it's laminated so that you can hear less of the outside. A petrol car, you'd always hear the motor whirring away. With this, it's completely silent. You know, I can whisper and you can still hear me, and you can't really hear anything from the outside. Those low profile tyres should mean there's a lot of road noise. It's almost zero, there's almost no road noise at all. The other thing I want to talk about is when it's in eco mode, which is what we're in now, you know, we're sipping the electrons. We're not going mad and draining the battery, doing red light runs, because it's only using the front motor. Now, there's a few other modes. If you have it in comfort mode, it uses both motors under hard acceleration, but usually it just uses the front one. So again, just thinking about that refinement, that luxury, but also not being a huge drain on the battery, because in a luxury saloon like this, you only really need that top speed and the, acceleration to get away from baddies. I really think luxury legacy's dominance is coming to an end. They're overwrought, overcomplicated and too expensive. Their electric models just cannot compete on this level. And what Nio have done in the last few years to come up with this is incredible. Overwrought, overcomplicated and over-expensive. Luxury legacy is in a spot of trouble, I think, with the ET7 going to Europe later this year. I think they've all underestimated how important this car is going to be and how much European consumers are probably going to like it. And that's the key. Will German buyers buy something like the ET7? Well, if Tesla is anything to go by, I think Nio stand a very good chance. So that's all we have time for. I hope you've enjoyed this video of the ET7. We have all of our lovely links around this video, including Patreon membership and YouTube memberships. And if you have been, thank you for watching.
Well, thank you very much for watching another episode featuring our wonderful Elliot Richards in China. His English is getting really good these days. Anyway, if you like that episode, you're probably going to like this one as well. This is our most recent episode. Up here you can find a link to subscribe to the channel, and this, if you're interested, is our Patreon.